Waffles
from The Simpsons.
Caramels.
So I'm pretty sure if I just leave the caramel in the waffle maker, it's gonna burn. So I'll melt this with some milk.
Waffle batter.
To make the waffle batter, I'll combine flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, 1 egg, and the caramel.
Liquid smoke.
Once everything is whisked, I'll butter up my waffle maker and pour in the batter.
Ooh, waffle runoff.
So I'm not at Homer's level yet where I can use a whole stick of butter, but I will use some.
Fattening.
Let's make
the death sandwich
from Regular Show.
You must first sign this waiver of death.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
All right, I'll have that out for you in a minute. One death sandwich.
Yeah.
But remember, if you don't eat it right, you die.
I'm about to tear this thing up! Death sandwich! Death sandwich!
Let's make snack sushi from Steven Universe.
Today we're going to make snack sushi. First, use the spoon to cut slices into the flesh of the avocado and transfer the slices to a plate. In a bowl, combine mayonnaise and your favorite hot sauce to taste. I like it very spicy. On a bamboo rolling mat, place a sheet of seaweed paper rough side up. Spread the sushi rice onto the seaweed paper. Line up your avocado slices on top of the sushi rice. Now for the secret ingredient. Cheese puffs. Make sure to use the smoother variety of puff for the proper texture. Line up your puffs along the avocado slices. Then use the bamboo mat to roll up your sushi roll. Now carefully slice your roll into 6 equally sized pieces. To finish, place a dollop of the spicy mayo on top of each piece of sushi and garnish the plate with another dollop, 'cause it's fancy. Time to try one for myself.
Here's how you can make Spongebob's Krabby Patty.
First bun, then patty, followed by ketchup, mustard, pickles, extra onions, lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and bun. In that order.
You might be asking what's in the patty. According to the producer, there's no meat.
There is absolutely no meat in the Krabby Patty. There's no animal product in there.
Vegetarian.
So it's just a veggie patty. Let's make the ribwich from The Simpsons.
One ribwich, please.
This was my first time cooking ribs like this, and it came out better than I thought. Let's grab some beef dino ribs and trim off the fat and remove the membrane. Smother it with hot sauce. I'm using Carolina Reaper sauce, don't ask me why, and your favorite seasonings with some sugar and salt. In The Simpsons, they showed a cow going into fire and then somehow molten lava comes out. I don't know how. I don't have that machine, but I do have the Traeger, so I'm using that with some hickory and placing it in there at 285 for about 5.5 hours. At the 4-hour mark, I'm spritzing it, and for the last 30 minutes, I'll be giving it a bath with Dr. Pepper. And let me tell you, this came out amazing. I do think I would have liked to have cooked it a bit less, but it was still very juicy.
Try my new Krusty ribwich. I don't mind the taste.
That's pretty much it. Slide it between some buns and enjoy. Let's make Homer's donut from The Simpsons.
Yummy donut. But try it like this. Donut. I think you and I are gonna get along just okay.
To make the dough, grab 1 cup of lukewarm milk and add 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and mix. Add this to 4 cups of all-purpose flour with a pinch of salt and knead until it's a soft dough. Then slowly incorporate half a cup of butter, continue to knead, and rest in a greased bowl for about an hour and a half. Now roll this out to 1/2 inch and cut out circles. Then let it rest for 30 minutes and fry at 365 for about 1 to 2 minutes per side. To make the glaze, mix half a cup of powdered sugar with a splash of milk and vanilla, a pinch of salt, and pink food coloring. Dip your donut and top it off with sprinkles. Enjoy. Here's how you can make
Together breakfast
from Steven Universe.
Look at you. You are out of control. It's done! Life is beautiful.
Here's how you can make
The Inferno challenge.
from regular show.
Our wing sauce is made from mutated ghost peppers, hot magma extract, and black widow venom. I'll do it. Tick-tock, city boy.
Okay, I honestly thought this was going to be super spicy, and it is a bit spicy, but I only used one ghost pepper, but even the smell kind of reminds me of a Carolina Reaper, and I hate it. But taste-wise, because we put the magma, aka Pakistani ketchup, it actually tastes pretty good. And the Black Widow, aka Squid Ink, doesn't really add any flavor whatsoever. But these are still some tasty, somewhat spicy wings. I can finish this whole thing. Here's how you can make
Bet it all on black garlic burgers.
from Bob's Burgers.
Stupid name. Oh my god. It's made with black garlic. It's a fermented garlic. It comes from Korea.
Don't blame Korea for your stupid burger, Bob. Not fair to them or burgers.
I'm not blaming
The
them.
stupid black garlic burger. Put it up on the screen. All right, now they're tasting Bob's idiot burger. Get ready for another spit out.
This has exquisite mouthfeel.
Can I have a black garlic burger too?
You want to try my burger?
Yeah, I smelt it, and now I want you to delt it into...
Yeah, not really impressed. I think this ruined cheese sticks and also Cheetos for me at the same time. Combining these two and then popping it in the microwave didn't make it better. It would have been better if I just ate them both separately. I was actually thinking about doing this again, but with Miss Vicky's, but this didn't really come out well, and I don't want to ruin Miss Vicky's like that. So yeah, not recommended. Let's make the Isotope Dog from The Simpsons.
Me so hungry. Mesquite grilled onions.
To make the mesquite grilled onions, I'm gonna char up some white onions in a cast iron skillet and infuse it with mesquite wood pellets.
Jalapeno relish.
In a food processor, add jalapeno peppers, garlic, white vinegar, salt, and sugar. Mix well.
Mango lime salsa.
Lastly, to make the salsa, I'm gonna dice up some sweet mangoes, along with a red onion and cilantro. I'm going to add everything into a mixing bowl, season with salt, and a big squeeze of lime juice. And now to assemble, I'm using a brioche hot dog bun, Italian beef sausage, and then the 3 condiments go on top. And that's pretty much it. This was actually pretty good. Here's how you can make
The perfect sandwich.
from Teen Titans.
All that was left was to crisp it in the refrigerator.
It's a regular sandwich. It is better than Princess Bubblegum sandwich from Adventure Time. At least it has some meat. You know, we got the salami, we got the bacon. The hot sauce is nice, but I don't know. It's like an upgraded BLT, but there's nothing special about it. It's good, like I'll eat it. I would give this a 7.1 out of 10. Here's how you can make
Bagel sandwich!
from Steven Universe.
Perfectly timed afternoon sandwich complete. Wait.
Okay, so first of all, I don't know why he didn't put the cream cheese on the bagel itself as opposed to on the salmon. Everything is way too slippery. And personally, I think there's a few missing ingredients which I like to have in my smoked salmon bagel. And that is a tomato. And if you don't like tomatoes, it's time to grow up. It tastes amazing in smoked salmon. Some red onions. And lastly, some capers. Here's how you can make
Microwave wings,
from regular show.
dash of pepper, blast of curry, mixing them slow, whoa, not gonna hurry. What are you singing? Microwave wings. Microwave wings, microwave wings. Where did everybody go after the show? Benson's on his own again, don't you know? Benson eats alone. Benson eats alone.
This is weird. So you don't really make anything. You just buy wings and then you add black pepper and curry powder, which, you know, that could mean many things. I just mix in garam masala with turmeric powder, the raw curry powder, heated up by the microwave on already cooked wings is quite odd. If I had to rate this out of 10, regardless of where you get the wings from, I would be deducting points just because of the raw curry powder. I don't think adding raw curry powder is going to increase. Let's make the Luther from the Boondocks.
I present to you the Luther, a full-pound burger patty covered in cheese, grilled onion, 5 strips of bacon, all sandwiched between
2 donuts.
2 Krispy Kreme donuts.
Granddad, you can't serve this kind of food to people. It'll cause death.
Whoa, this is what crack must feel like.
Shame on you, Huey. Move out to the suburbs and suddenly you too good for soul food. Perhaps you would enjoy a spot of cheese and a buttered scone, white boy.
Here's how you can make the car panini from Family Guy. This is so stupid. I know this is not going to taste good.
Oh yeah, peanut butter cup Dorito sausage car panini. And let's crack a Cadbury egg over the whole thing.
This is not going to taste good. Holy, what am I making? Hold on. Surprisingly, it's not nasty. Okay, so this reminds me of a dessert crepe. It's basically chocolate and bread. Like, that's Nutella on toast. But I don't even taste the chicken. I only taste chocolate. I don't really taste the Doritos. At least it works somewhat. You know, it's not the greatest, but it's still something that is edible. So I would give this a 6.1 out of 10. Here's how you can... This is so stupid. So first off, in the show, the plastic magically disappeared. I need a box cutter for this, or even if I have scissors. I thought it would be crunchier because we froze it, but it's just soggy. And you can't even cut this. You need some sort of drill saw for this. This is so dumb. I don't know, Craig of the Creek is flopping when it comes to recipes because the last thing we did from the show was the microwaved Cheeto dusted mozzarella stick. I was not feeling that at all. And now this isn't even edible. Like, we can't do anything with this. I don't want to waste it, so the only thing I can do is just let this sit in the fridge and let it defrost and just drink it. This is like a 1.4 out of 10. Don't do this. Here's how you can make
Pizza Bagel
from Steven Universe. So this is a pretty interesting recipe. All it really is a pizza bagel with cream cheese on the inside. So I'm going to cut open a bagel like this to make a little cavity so I can fill it up with cream cheese. And on top I'll spread my pizza sauce, which is basically San Marzano tomatoes seasoned with salt. Then I'll add dollops of soft mozzarella and bake this until everything is cooked. Lastly, garnish it with some basil. And honestly, this came out pretty well. I wasn't too sure about the combination of cream cheese and pizza, but this actually kind of works.
And with pizza on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime!
Here's how you can make from Spongebob. Squidward being a squid, let's add some squid ink. And now let's just make a regular lemonade. So we have our lemon juice, some sugar, and water. So squid ink itself smells like a fish market, but taste-wise it does not taste like fish. It's very subtle, almost, it reminds me of almost like an oyster, a bit salty, but honestly any flavor that you even taste immediately goes away. There's no real strong flavor that you can sense from squid ink in my opinion. So that's why this lemonade smells a bit like fish and lemonade, but it doesn't taste like an oyster or fish. It honestly just tastes like lemonade. So yeah, it works. Here's how you can make
grilled cheese deluxe from Cheezers?
From regular show. To buttered brioche, I'm gonna add cheddar, smoked Havarti, Fontina, Monterey Jack, Gouda, and provolone. I'm gonna cook this low and slow until it gets a nice crust on each side, and you can't forget about the cheese leather.
Ow! How did you manage this?
I bought it with money.
Nice.
Okay, I thought it was going to be overpowering because we put so many different types of cheese, but this actually works. It's nothing too heavy, and I'm surprised that, you know, like I don't feel sick of eating too much cheese. I guess this is what Bayashi feels like. I'm not a huge fan of olives. 10 out of 10. Homer knows what's good. Here's how you can make
The most perfect sandwich?
Not impressed with your performance, Princess Bubblegum. This is the exact opposite of Jake's sandwich. At least with Jake's sandwich, you got a lot of ingredients you could play with. Even though it was overdone, there was at least some elements of flavor. This is totally underdone. I don't have a lot of things to work with here. It's just rabbit food at this point. I try to hype it up a bit by using a brioche bun, a really nice aged cheddar cheese. I seasoned the tomato, but you still can't do much with this. Here's how you can make
Fruity, juicy popsicles.
From Dexter's lab.
Take an ordinary ice tray and fill it with your favorite fruit juice. Stretch a piece of plastic wrap tight over the tray and stick a toothpick at each cube. Put the tray in the freezer and let it chill overnight.
I accidentally cracked it. Dee Dee did not prepare me for this. I guess I can warm it up with a bit of water. Let me...
Astounding!
I grew up watching Dexter's Lab, and I also remember trying something like this when I was in elementary school. I think it's just like one of those first things you get to do in the kitchen without having to actually cook. So it was a nice, I guess, first step into the kitchen. I thought this was gonna taste watered down after you freeze fruit juice, but it's actually pretty good. And mango juice in a juice box is 10 out of 10. So for those who keep asking me, will I ever give something a perfect score? Mango juice from a juice box and Miss Vicky's jalapeno chips are both 10 out of 10s. Here's how you can make
Cookie Cat!
From Steven Universe.
Cookie Cat!
You already know I don't like baking, so as per the store-bought cake flour mix, I'm whisking vegetable oil, milk, 3 eggs, along with the cake flour, greasing up a baking pan, and just gonna bake this as per the instructions on the back of the packet. I bought this Cookie Cat mold online, but I totally messed up here, so I decided to cut the cake lengthwise so it's a bit thinner, popped it out of the mold. In another tray, I'll scoop vanilla and strawberry ice cream side by side, press in my mold, and then assemble the sandwich. The taste is pretty much like an ice cream sandwich, except the cake isn't as dense as an ice cream sandwich would be. Maybe you have to freeze this more, but yeah, it's nice. Here's how you can make
pure cupcake perfection.
From We Bare Bears.
First the batter, then the oven, the frosting, and the toppings, and finally, pure cupcake perfection.
Oh, can we eat that?
No eating.
Oh, okay, so I'm not much of a baker. This is probably the first time I had a fresh cupcake, and it's really good. So yeah, this is an 8.7 out of 10.
Wow.
We have a winner here, and FYI, my mic wasn't working, so this is basically what happened.
Not to be dramatic, but
No thank you.
These kids are so ungrateful because this is probably the only good recipe that came out of that show, and I'm guessing why is because these stupid kids didn't have any hand in actually making this recipe. This was an adult, I think his name is Dwayne, and the blackberries work because it's a bit sweet, sour, and it just cuts through all that cheese and fattiness, so it is quite heavy without it.
Waste anyway.
Here's how you can make calzone from We Bare Bears.
Keep them coming. We got a ton of orders coming in.
Thank you.
Come again.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
I love the oregano in that. And the salt on top?
Just enough, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Crying.
How are they crying? This is just a regular PB&J. There's nothing special about this. Craig of the Creek is 0 for 3 right now. Then we tried their frozen yogurt. It wasn't even edible because you couldn't remove the plastic from the yogurt. There's absolutely nothing great about any of the recipes that I've seen from Craig of the Creek. The show itself seems a bit cringe too. I don't even know how good the show is. I haven't watched it, but I've seen a lot of their food recipes. This is like probably the best thing, but they didn't invent PB&J. The show is the worst. Not impressed. Here's how you can make
Fantastic fries.
from Steven Universe.
The ketchup is inside the fries?
Let's peel and slice some russet potatoes, and then you want to soak this in ice cold water. Obviously there's not going to be any ketchup in this, so I'm going to syringe in some hot sauce, dry up the potatoes, deep fry at 300 for 5 minutes, and then crank it up to 350 until they're nice and brown. And that's not pretty much it. Now we got to syringe this. It took me a few tries, but I think I got it.
This is not possible. Okay, so it works, but it's not really as practical. I think the trick is to make sure you don't get any air in your syringe, so that way it doesn't just blow out your fries, because it made a huge mess on my cutting board, and I don't think it's really worth the time, because you could easily just dip your fries into the sauce and then eat it. By the time you're done syringing all the fries, it's gonna get cold, it's gonna get a bit soggy. It is a bit cool to see, but still, look, as long as it's not ketchup, I'm eating it, so.
Can I get some ketchup?
Sorry, no additions or substitutions.
This place is all talk. You can't have fries without ketchup.
Here's how you can make
Chum burger right here!
From SpongeBob. Apparently, chum is basically fish guts, eyeballs, and blood, everything you would use in fish bait, but that's why nobody wants to go to the chum bucket, so I'm teaching Plankton a new chum recipe. This has salmon, ginger, turmeric, and garlic paste, parsley, bell pepper, furikake, salt and pepper, and panko breadcrumbs.
Big Johnny will eat anything!
Have a chum burger, Johnny, sir! Go on, sir. Tell your buddies what you think!
Okay, people are slacking on the chum bucket. If Plankton uses this recipe, he doesn't need the secret formula anymore. I think this is better than the Krabby Patty, because at least in this you use actual meat. Unlike the Krabby Patty, we learned that it was just a veggie patty. It's basically like a nice salmon burger. Plankton needs to get off the fish guts and the eyeballs and the blood. Ain't nobody eating that right now. I'm giving this maybe a 8.4 out of 10.
Here's how you can make
The sandwich of life.
From Regular Show.
Did you honestly think I'd just hand over the sandwich of life?
Come on!
Eat it! Is this going to give you life if you eat it?
No, I'm gonna die.
Out of 10?
5.5.
5.5, yeah, I would think the same thing.
Here's how you can make
Those apple fritters were double glazed by mistake.
From Regular Show.
Double glazed.
To make the glaze, whisk powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla. Let's dice up a Granny Smith apple, and then in a bowl add flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, eggs, milk, and applesauce. Whisk well until it turns to this really thick pancake-like consistency, then add your apples, and it should look something like this. Preheat oil to 375, and with the help of a slotted spoon, carefully add dollops of your fritter mixture and deep fry until they're golden brown. Coat each fritter into the glaze, let it dry, and then dip it into the glaze again for that double glaze. And that's pretty much it.
We'll take them. Actually, I gotta throw them out, bro, because they're not safe for human consumption.
Wow, wait. Okay, this is definitely safe for human consumption. The closest thing to a fritter that I would eat would be a pakora, and this is honestly quite similar to how you would make a pakora. The main difference is in Pakistan we would use gram flour as opposed to all-purpose flour, but the process was pretty much the same, and this is definitely better than something you would find at Tim Hortons. It's just full of apple flavor, a bit of the batter, you know, it's not heavy in batter. And the double glaze, I think that's the way to go. So far, Regular Show has been on point with their recipes, unlike some other shows. I would give this a 8.9 out of 10. It's pretty good. Oh, and also, it's not my cheat day. This is just a small little exception. I won't eat the whole thing.
We'll give you $10.
You want those for Hero to go?
Here's how you can make
The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza absolutively.
From SpongeBob.
First bun, then patty, followed by ketchup, mustard, pickles, extra onions, lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and bun. In that order.
I smell a lot of mustard, man.
All right, salute. Cheers.
It's actually not bad once you taste the cheese.
Exactly. And I thought the mustard would have been overpowering, but it really isn't.
Initially, it is a lot of mustard and pickles, but then the cheese kind of mellows it out.
Yeah. It is super mushy though. Interesting touch though is with the bread being put on top. It gives it a nice crunch.
Okay, out of 10, what is this?
6.5, maybe a 7, pushing it.
I think 7's pushing it. I was going to go for around a 6.2, maybe like a 5.8. Okay, but would you put this on the menu?
No. Sorry.
Here's how you can make Durr burger from Fortnite. Now I don't know how to build in Fortnite, but I do know how to build a nice burger. So I'll start off with some beef patties, season them up and get a bit of color on them. For the tongue, I'm going to use bacon. It also looks like it has some cheese, tomatoes, and eyeballs. And for the eyeballs, I decided to use bocconcini cheese with some black pepper for the pupils. And lastly, it looks like it has an olive stuck to the back of its head. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, you can't go wrong with, well, actually, except for the olive, I'm not a huge fan, but it's basically a beef bacon burger. It's pretty good. Here's how
in that competition.
It's arts and crafts. It's not a recipe. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I don't see how he thought he was going to impress people with this Craig's spider recipe. This is not impressive. It's basically a protein bar, but in their case, it was a piece of chocolate. And then using a chopstick, I poke some holes so I can stick in the pretzel sticks. And for the eyes, I used Nerds. I didn't know they even sold Nerds anymore. I'm not even expecting anything much anymore from Craig of the Creek. It's probably the worst show in terms of recipes. They've never made anything that was edible or unique. We made their nasty cheese sticks, which was borderline unedible. The frozen yogurt drink, which was completely unedible because you froze a piece of plastic and you couldn't remove it, so I couldn't even eat it. And then PB&J, which isn't even their creation. He just made a PB&J sandwich like it was something special. And now we have chocolate spiders, which is basically just a protein bar. Out of creativity, I'm giving this a 1 point. Macaroni and hot dogs is a nostalgic recipe for me. I grew up eating this. My mom always used to make it when I was coming home from lunch or even after school. So whoever that kid is, I don't even know what his name is, but Craig needs to learn lessons from him because it's an actual meal, it's edible, and you can't go wrong with a good old sausage and some macaroni and cheese. So I guess this is a rare W for Craig of the Creek because other than Dwayne's recipes, all of the other kids don't know how to cook. They have horrible palates. They don't know what food is. So I'm quite surprised that there is some hope for Craig of the Creek. If you guys know any other recipes from the show, let me know. I'm giving this a 9.3 out of 10. It's a classic.
The gummy.
I don't know, Craig's always overreacting. I don't get how he's so amazed by foods that are just super simple or basic. It's like he's never tasted anything before. I wouldn't say this is better than a peanut butter sandwich. It's pretty much the same thing, but I did get a ube-filled Pandesal. I don't know if that makes any difference. It does taste good, but it's honestly quite similar to a regular peanut butter sandwich, except there's no real jelly apart from the gummy fish, I guess. Okay, the gummy fish does make it a little bit better. It reminds me of one of those nostalgic Bigfoot gummies. I don't know, so far Dwayne was the only guy who could actually cook on this show. All the kids' recipes, they're slacking, but I do have to give it to Craig of the Creek for being a bit more diverse in their cuisine because they always try to get recipes from different cultures. And I guess Lola's peanut butter is actually a real brand, or it's influenced by a real brand called Lily's. So I do like how they put in that extra effort to actually reference real life ingredients or real life recipes. But unfortunately, this one isn't crazy. It's just a regular PB and gummy sandwich. I'd give it a 6.4 out of. Damn, that was the most annoying whine I've ever heard come out of a kid's mouth. Unlike all the kids' recipes, Dwayne's recipes are actually edible. He killed it last time with the blackberry grilled cheese. This one is a bit on the basic side. Based off the photo, it looked like he also added some lettuce, tomato, and cheese. Even with that, it's a regular sandwich, but at least it's edible. I think he could have sliced up the pickles because this is just way too big. I would say Dwayne is 2 for 2 right now. He's the only one carrying Craig of the Creek's recipes because so far, everything else that the kids made were not edible and nasty. It's 2 a.m. and it's a decent late night snack. I'd give it a 6.1 out of 10.
Here's how you can make
The Rig Juice.
from regular show.
1 can Radicola, frozen fruit punch concentrate, a dash of hot sauce, sugar roasted sugar bomb for texture, and the rest. Witness the Rig Juice.
Dude, I don't think you should drink that.
Whoa, my face feels like magic.
Okay, now usually I don't like to do stunt food because it's just a waste of food. Surprisingly, it isn't disgusting. It's actually edible. I'm more surprised at this than I was at Peter Griffin's carb panini. I don't taste the dried fish. I don't honestly taste the pickle juice. It's more so just the soda, the fruit punch, and a bit of the hot sauce. And it is sizzling because of the Pop Rocks. I don't want to waste it. Oh god. Oh, my eye. I touched hot sauce. Okay, let me just hurry up and drink this. It's not bad. 4.7 out of 10.
Here's how you can make
mac and cheese.
cheese.
Bites from Loud House. It's super simple. All you need to do is make mac and cheese however you want and then freeze the leftovers so everything solidifies. Grab a chunk and form it into a ball. I'm using extra cheese to hold everything together and then dip it into flour, eggs, and panko breadcrumbs. Squeeze everything well so it doesn't crack and fall apart. Lastly, just deep fry at 350 until it's golden brown. You can possibly also air fry it, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, now to be honest, I've never watched Loud House before, but just based on this recipe and dish alone, I will definitely choose this over Craig of the Creek. Like, the kids in Loud House, they know what good food is. This is way better than those mozzarella sticks from Craig of the Creek. It's just fried macaroni and cheese. And this one has some extra ground beef pieces on the inside. You just can't go wrong with this. I think there needs to be some sort of crossover between Loud House and Craig of the Creek because Loud House definitely needs to show them how to cook. This is way better than anything Craig or his friends made. I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10.
Here's how you can make
Marge Simpson's wasabi buffalo wings
from The Simpsons.
This is real wasabi. The stuff that you get at your local sushi restaurants or supermarkets is most likely just horseradish with a bit of green food coloring. It's mainly because it's super expensive and this cost me about 30 bucks.
I'm just gonna trim off the tip and then grate some of the wasabi root, add this to a bowl along with green Tabasco sauce, dried dill, chives, and that's the sauce. Pat down my chicken wings, season with salt, air fry at 375 and then bump it up to 390 to get it crispy. Mix this with your sauce and that's it.
Ooh, an Eastern twist on a Western New York favorite.
Okay, even just the amount of wasabi itself is making me cry. Even as I was mixing it, the fumes were just... Okay, surprisingly, it's not really super spicy. Like, the flavor is actually really good. I like the green hot sauce with the dill, the chives, and the wasabi just brings that almost spicy sour note to it. It's very unique. I think Marge is onto something here. This is probably one of the top wing sauce flavors I've ever tasted. Okay, this is solid. I'm giving this maybe a 9.1 out of 10.
These wings are going straight to my thighs.
Here's how you can make
Chef's salted chocolate balls
from South Park.
Are they good?
Try them.
Hey, these are good. Yeah, I love your salted chocolate balls, Chef.
Say everybody haven't seen my balls, they're big and salty and brown. If you ever need a quick pick me up, just stick my balls in your mouth. Ooh, suck on my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
It's quite good. It just tastes like chocolate and salt in a ball. And it's really easy to make in a food processor. I just added chocolate, walnuts, some dates, coconut oil, peanut butter, salt, and some more chocolate if you want. Then you just make balls, leave it in the fridge, and it turns into these guys. It's basically like a date ball, but with a bit more chocolate. I also went a bit fancy with the salt and used some black truffle salt, so I'm getting a bit of that truffle flavor. I think Chef knows what he's doing. It's almost like a gulab jamun where it's just too sweet to have more than one. If I had to rate this, I'm gonna give this maybe a 7.9 out of 10.
Here's how you can make
holographic meatloaf
from SpongeBob.
My favorite!
So I didn't grow up eating meatloaf, but I always saw it on TV and it didn't look like it was the most appetizing meal. I'm kind of curious to see what this is going to taste like. It basically seems to be beef with whatever spices you want, and to that I'll add some onions, breadcrumbs, 1 egg, and some milk. And I'm gonna give this a mix. I want to spice this up just a bit, so I'll add some green Thai chili peppers. And then you want to put this in a greased up baking dish. Also, I just realized why it's called meatloaf, because you're baking this in a bread loaf dish. I don't know if anybody else just figured that out now, but that's new to me. And on top, you're supposed to be adding some sort of sauce. Apparently it's a mixture of brown sugar, mustard, and ketchup, but obviously I'm not using ketchup because it's the worst condiment known to man, so I'm just going to use some hot sauce. I'm just going to give this a mix and then spread it across the meatloaf. And then in the oven it goes at 350 for about an hour. I don't even know how to attack this thing. It's basically ground beef, so I honestly don't know what I'm expecting. Okay, the flavor is alright, but I'm not too fond of the texture. It's a bit too mushy. It's almost like baby food. I don't know what Plankton is doing, man. This guy's dying with his Chum burger and now meatloaf. He needs to step it up. I'm giving this maybe a 5.7 out of 10. I think what I'm going to do is cook this a bit more on the stovetop just so it can turn a bit more crispy. Pretty much like how we do it in Pakistan where you make keema. So it's really just cooked throughout and it's in little pieces. It's not really jam-packed like this.